Well, what can I say to you, ladies and gentlemen? So, we got kicked off our live stream. My computer decided to just go AWOL on me. So, I'm not going to even go through the start of what I just did, but of course, that's going to stay up there. So, if you're watching this part, mad love and respect, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's continue to what we were talking about. And if you are new, just go and watch the video before this one because the live stream got taken down. And then we're going to continue on with that flavor. Yeah, I did get not enough likes. Most definitely, there was not enough likes in the live stream. That's why it got kicked off, man. What an absolute story that was. Anyways, let's get back to the program of what we were talking about a few minutes ago. So we were looking at the Nasdaq entry point that we wanted to see today. Okay, and we saw the nice move to the upside on Nasdaq at 24,374. And we saw it come down to 24,480 a little bit, and then they made the snap reversal. But the star of the show today, guys, was Bitcoin. Look at this for an entry point. We saw and we said that I wanted to see Bitcoin tap the 85,466, okay? And it tapped that. Oh, I can't believe the entry point. Look at this. What an entry for Bitcoin. It kissed it. Look at that. Came into the tap right there. 85,466 is where it went. And then, man, it just made a nice sharp reversal to the upside. So, Platinum members, you would have smashed it today. You would have done exactly the same thing with Ethereum because we wanted to see Ethereum pump. We wanted to see the, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. No. There we go. So, yeah, 2,789 is what we wanted on Ethereum to see a pump towards 2,917. And what we ended up getting was, look at that, complete rip to the upside. Look at that for an entry, man. I'm really proud of myself that we caught that entry right there. What a tap right there. 2,789, and they made the sharp reversal to the upside. What a move. And Solana, I mean, did Solana do what I think it did? Yeah, so entry at $128.03. And then Solana said, yippee-ki-yay. Oh, fuck. I mean, wow. If any of the members held on to that trade, it missed the tap of it. But this is part of the block trade principle that we marked off over here. And they just made the move to the upside. So those guys would have made a stack and a bean. So, guys, if you want to try and take advantage of these sort of setups, do they appear like this every day? No, because cryptocurrency doesn't move like this every single day. But we caught the start of the week. That is it. I mean, some people are whatever. My guy made about $4.5 grand today on this flip on Solana. So fair play to you today, bro. But we did really well with it all. I mean, if we look at gold, man, gold just completely ripped. I'm so happy with gold making that move because I wasn't going to project it this morning. But because of the idea of what's going on with the interest rates, that is what was fueling this move to the upside. Now let's get to the idea of what is going on in crypto to help you understand the narrative of why Bitcoin did really pump today. Is it because of the Bank of Japan story? Clearly not. That's going to be something that's going to be happening later on. Is it because Apple cut jobs across sales team? No, not really. Is it because the Kremlin rejects the European plan to end war in Ukraine? No, not really. Have we got this story over here? Traders flood Fed rate cut bets after dovish talks, of course, where, well, Waller did say that he favors a rate cut. That's happy days right there. Just to back it up a little bit, ETFs are starting to see some flavor coming in, ladies and gentlemen. We saw quite a bit of volume in the millions coming into play with the Vanguard and the iShares Core. And if you just look here, when we zoom into it, okay, in the last month itself, we have seen a lot of ETFs sell off, but now we've just had a very sharp bounce from these ranges. So that could mean that ETF money market players are starting to come in thinking that if the basket of assets in ETFs are actually going to look like they're going to make a recovery, then they're having that expectation. And then, of course, you can see it's starting to make a little bit of a move to the upside. Now, let's just get with the idea of where we are. Bitcoin today has smashed it. Look at where we are. We've got green all across the board, okay? Bitcoin, just a few moments ago, was the top performer at 5%. Bitcoin was at the top, okay? Even better than Nasdaq. Right now, it's coming down here at minus 0.38. That's not true because obviously I didn't get to show you it on the previous video, but Bitcoin was at the top at 5%. So Bitcoin has had a wonderful day today. Quickly going into it all to break it all down. What can we expect now with Bitcoin? So if we just look at the logic all together, guys, tomorrow we actually have the CPI data being released. Has this evolved as the false move at the start of the week? Well, regardless of whether it's the false move or not, it is a move to the upside, and it's only because everyone is waiting for the actual data to come out tomorrow, okay? Now, that core PPI is showing an expectation of 0.2%. So they've just updated it, meaning that they're expecting CPI data, or sorry, PPI, the cost of change of goods and services. Where is it? That's the core price. So this is the change in price of finished goods and services sold by producers, and they're seeing an increase of up to 0.2%. That is naturally going to have an impact on the inflation reading. But when you go over to the Fed watch, you can see that we're at 82% of a rate cut, and that's only because of Fed speakers saying that they do favor higher prices. So in the terms of a sentiment, this is where Bitcoin is at. It's at the idea that if the interest rates are going to get cut, that is going to be beneficial for Bitcoin. What did we say this morning about gold? We said that gold is preparing for the hedge. And once they know where we are with the interest rates, they're going to start plowing into gold because the yield on the dollar is pointless. They don't want to be sat in the dollar itself. However, going over into the euro's taking a bit of a move. I mean, look at that euro play, man. I'm so gutted about that. It did move up, but it just didn't work out. Euro's consolidating, but at the same time, we're seeing that the dollar is actually trading positive. What's going on? They're putting dollars to work. This story with Japan is going to impact the marketplace, but not just yet. My expectation is that dollar is going to go up. Do not sleep on the dollar. It's going to go up, okay? But it's going to go up to the point where I believe the Bank of Japan are going to be the ones that dictate the journey of the dollar, okay? Because if it does actually pull the idea of the carry trade, investors will go into the bonds market for safety. And that's where they'll start pulling everything out of the stock market. Now, let me just get to the flavor on what I'm talking about with Bitcoin, okay? So this was the actual image itself. I'm going to pull it up for you because I took a screenshot of it because it is very, very important for us to pay attention to it. So in front of you is Bitcoin's range today in terms of the spot delta, okay? Here we go. The aggregated spot order book depth difference chart, okay? Now, hear me out with this one because a lot of people, and there's not many people that will discuss this, but this is going to help you understand how to use certain bits of data and understand how price actually moves, okay? Now, before I get into it, there are two types of participants. You got the person that wants to bid and you got the person that wants to offer. The person that's going to bid is going to be the guy that leaves orders in the book so that when someone comes to sell, he's there to buy it. Equally, when someone wants to offer, they're going to leave sell orders at high prices so that when someone comes in to aggressively buy and take from the market, they're going to take from that guy, okay? So he's going to sell into the buyer. This image right here shows you what was going on today. And this was the reason why I was looking at it and I was saying, hold on a second, that doesn't make sense. What's going on? And when you understand a little bit about order flow, it can aid you in making decisions. To the left, you've got all of this green, right? All of it is green. But look at Bitcoin's price. Yeah? It's trading lower. It's not really making that much of a move, is it? Okay? Then look to the right. And then you see this move to the upside. And then you see all of this. So you look at this and think, hold on, does the green mean that prices should be going up? But then the red means price should be going down. Let me explain. It was this right here. This here was the trigger for Bitcoin to make this move to the upside. Okay? Where's the green? There's no green on there. This green is the order book depth. In other words, the bids and the offers. Greens are bids, reds are offers, okay? Now, I'm just going to simplify it so it doesn't send you a little bit wild, okay? But you can see down here, this is where Bitcoin's price was consolidating at, okay? What was going on is participants that were selling the Bitcoin, they were selling into a bid wall. So they kept on selling, bang, they hit the wall. Oh, you're not going any lower. Bang, they kept hitting the wall. Kept hitting this wall, and sellers were so exhausted trying to sell the Bitcoin and try and get Bitcoin at lower prices, believe it or not, and they were hitting and hitting the bids, but the bids kept on retaining price, and it kept this wall on Bitcoin, or should we say floor, okay? Now, you can see here that as price was getting closer towards the New York session, the bid wall was starting to show more and more absorption. That means as people were coming in, selling and selling and selling, these bidders were like, I'll take that. I'll take that. Give me that. I'll thank you very much. You want to sell your cat and your dog? I'll take them as well. Give me your lungs. I'll take that. Thank you very much. I'll keep on hitting. You keep hitting my bid. I'm going to be there to stack at you, and I'm going to keep on taking your order because I am not going to allow this order that I've got to go any lower. I'm happy to buy off you. When you see a high frequency of behavior like that in terms of the delta and the in terms of absorption of orders, you can then make the assumption and say, hold on a second, is there a strong possibility that price is going to start working up? Because these guys who have been acting as a floor or wall for the order book and preventing prices from going lower, it can only imply that there is a pressure building up in the book. So that when the book sees that there's pressure dominating to one side, the book is then naturally just going to adjust itself and rotate, trigger a different algorithm, and start offering prices because these guys have an intention to sell, which means that when you look at all of this stuff right here, what's going on? Bitcoin price earlier on this morning where it made the stop run to the downside and triggered our entry, that is the anticipation of the stop run because it's the trap. So it was effectively the last point in Bitcoin this afternoon or this morning, which was this range right here, where the bids had been so aggressively hit by the sellers, the bids trapped them. They allowed them to drop price. The sellers got engaged. Short sellers came in and the bids had just soaked it all up and reversed price. And to simplify all of this right here, and what I'm talking about, how we simplify it with the hybrid system is simply stopping volume candles. And that's right there. The stopping volume candle occurred. That's what a stopping volume candle is, when the bids are absorbing up all of the price action from the sellers and preventing it from going any lower. The market maker triggers the orders and then reverses price back up, which effectively led Bitcoin's move to the upside. And notice at how quick it went. Now, going in back into this, what is this showing you? Where's the green stuff? Well, it's nowhere. Why? Because the guys right here that set the trap effectively said, you know what? It's now time to offer. Okay. But in the meantime, whilst that was happening, who came into the book? The sellers. And the sellers were there like, okay, you want to sell? Yeah, I'm going to sell to you. All right, cool. Take it. So some people come in and they're buying, the aggressive buying, it comes into play. Market orders coming in. This is physical buying, soaking up the Bitcoin, and the offers were there to take it. And you can see what that led to. It led to a significant move to the upside. So what was going on in the order book? The sellers were being overwhelmed by market participants wanting to buy. But once you've got that situation, there's nothing stopping price from continuing up. Now, if you notice, this is over a time period that was from 9:30 this morning going all the way through to around 20 to 8 this evening, where Bitcoin's effectively pulled back and topped out, okay? So what's happened is the market participants, the aggressive buyers, the takers, have kind of slowed down, okay? To back that logic up, you go over to the CoinAnk and look at what's going on here. Remember that move that I said to you about the stopping volume candle? Who was down there? Well, someone placed an order of $13 million to buy Bitcoin. So we know that there are participants in that stopping volume candle. And you go in a little bit more, you got an order right there, 4.92 million coming into play. So that was setting the trap. And then the offers came in. Where are the bids? Nowhere to be seen. They don't want lower prices. The book has disappeared from bids. That means they're favoring higher prices. Now, the next question is Bitcoin going to continue to the upside? Well, tomorrow's CPI data is going to reveal whether or not we're going to get rate cuts. Even though the Federal Reserve is so concentrated on the idea of the labor market, if tomorrow's CPI data comes in and suggests that inflation may be coming down, then ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get an explosive move to the upside. Gold's going to hit its all-time high. We're going to get our rate cut, and then investors can now start betting on the idea that we're going to get another cut going into the new year. That is going to be wonderful, especially when you've got corporate finance being refinanced, okay, at the start of the new year. Then lower rates is going to make life a little bit easier on the outstanding $9 trillion that the US owes, okay, in terms of accumulated debt, then not to forget about the unrealized gains and losses of banks, which has now tapped 386 billion, and it's now come down from 550 billion. So that's kind of good, but they're still in a negative drawdown of $350 billion. Well, it's going to make life a little bit easier for them when it comes to like declaring whether or not they should be taking a loss or not. But overall, looking at Bitcoin's price action, going over into it, the real reason for why Bitcoin rose today is because the bids were preventing it from going lower. But more importantly, that is real buying. People were stepping in, buying up the Bitcoin. Okay? The takers were coming in. And that was only because the guys who had originally engineered the liquidity at the start were keeping price compressed. People were neither here nor there. Then all of a sudden, they did the stop run, changed the narrative, hit the offers, and then price makes the move to the upside. You might think that's a load of BS, but ladies and gentlemen, you can't mess with order flow. You can't. It's there in your face, okay? The orders are there for price to take. And that's what reason that Bitcoin made the move to the upside. Because let's be honest, has anything happened in crypto today? Nothing. BlackRock sold today, ladies and gentlemen. BlackRock sold on behalf of their clients. Going into the ETF itself, you can see what we got. Oh, 5 hours ago, we've seen a little bit of accumulation on Ethereum. Oh, that's how you know it's retail coming into BlackRock and saying, please buy, please buy, please buy. BlackRock has been offloading the ETF. It's been offloading the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETF. Now we're starting to see some inflows coming into play. Here we go. So BlackRock. There you go. Happy days. Outflow all of 11 hours ago. We sold so much Bitcoin 11 hours ago, and now we've put it back in. Happy days, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. What we got here? We got some comments here. Hold on a second. Got some comments. What's this? Here we go. Ali, what's good? Good afternoon. You know, I'm 6 years here now, and I learn a lot with you. If possible, please tell me about gold prediction for this week. Gold prediction for the week. It's going to be based on tomorrow's data, so tune into tomorrow, and I'll give you a good understanding of it. Pedge Fund says, shave your beard. Oh, hold on. Shave your beard, keep a Mexican or a Turkish-style mustache. El Tino, the Matador. I see Sol hitting the 50 EMA monthly at 113. I want to see this test before a real Santa rally. We have not had one for 2 years. I'm a bit perplexed on the idea of the El Matador and the beard and the Turkish and then Solana at the same time. I mean... No, we're going to keep the beard, man. We've got to keep the beard. Anyway, so... Mad love to you, my bro. Hold on a second. Right, your logic at 113 for Solana. Well, let's just look at that, okay? I mean, I can't get over that. That is wonderful. So, $113 Solana. I mean, the logic with Solana going down to that point is on the premise that we don't get a rate cut. Simple as. However, this is just one candlestick that's making a little bit of a move to the upside. $113 Solana will take us back to this blue vector candle region. I will be expecting them to sweep that range. I will, okay? Because once the rate cut comes into play, then we're going to then prepare ourselves for the next rate cut. So they'll market lower, buy it up, and then offer out, okay? But because we are getting this supposed rate cut, everyone's getting excited about it. And you can tell that just because of the way investors are plowing into gold. Wait, there we go. Your gold is going to all-time highs. That's my logic. It is. It's going to all-time highs. It will come back up to this vector. It will. If there is a change in the sentiment of interest rates, then it will not. It won't go to all-time high. If they say we're not going to increase the interest rates, cut the interest rates. If tomorrow the CPI data says that the cost of finished goods is actually rising and it's rising aggressively, then ladies and gentlemen, we've got a big problem. All of what you've seen today will go in the bin. And that's the truth. Tina, how you doing? Give us practical advice regarding being stubborn and trading badly, regardless good setups and good setups analysis. All right, okay, my bro. All right, listen, when it comes to trading, the practical advice in regards to being stubborn and trading badly. Trading is a skill-based business. Of course it is. But it's not the idea of, you've got the idea of executing a system, okay? You can execute a system. How well you execute that system is based on your ability to say, yes, I'm going to execute. No, I'm not. Or yes, I'm out of the trade. Or yes, I'm going to take a profit. How well are you at sticking to a rule or a requirement? Okay. You sit in your car, you're driving. If you're pissed off with something and you don't want to press the brakes, you're going to suffer the consequences of hitting someone in front of you. But of course, you can't be angry and not hit the brakes on your car whilst you're driving, because when you need to stop, you need to stop, okay? When it comes to being stubborn, it means you're cheesed off with something that happened before. You can't hold on to it. As I said, trading is a skill business, but the true skill in trading is the skill that you develop in training yourself to know when to act and when not to act. You've got to understand that it's on you who has to say, I messed up. Or it's on you that has to say, I'm losing too much money today. I can't trade too much. I need to stop. You need to literally switch your computer off and walk away. And if you don't have that ability in yourself to walk away because you're chasing a win or you're chasing the loss, okay, you're going to last 5 minutes in this game, my bro, and you're going to be in this vicious cycle of continuously depositing because you keep on fighting yourself. Get into the skill of learning how to control your behavior, okay? Try and reduce the amount of time you're trading. Maybe become a scalper. I'm impulsive as hell, okay? I make decisions left, right, and center. 1 minute I could be stood here. Tomorrow I could be on a plane to go somewhere, okay? And that's me just being impulsive, all right? Trading is the same. Trading brings it all out of you. It really does bring it out of you, and it shows who you are, okay? It tells me you're stubborn and you're struggling or whatever, okay? Work on that. Trading is the easy skill. Believe me, trading is easy. But the real skill in trading is managing you. And I can't tell you how to manage you. I can tell you to fix the fuck up and don't waste your time trying to chase old plays, okay? That's like being with a woman, okay? You've got with a woman and you're happy days with her. Then you split up with her. She moves away. She's gone. And then in the same day that you split up with her, you go back to her and then you say to her, I don't know who that guy was. It wasn't me. I'm sorry. Please, can we get back together? She'll be like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Why is he chasing still? Okay? You just got rid of me. Now you want me back. What the hell? I don't know if that was a good flipping analogy, but it wouldn't make sense for you to finish and then try and get her back. It wouldn't make sense because you finished her for a reason. You closed the trade for a reason, or you got busted out for a reason. All right. So why are you trying to go back to recover the damage that was done? Start a new day, start a new trade a new asset. All right. Take a break. But the skill in trading is managing you. And I can't tell you how to do that. I can tell you from my experience. Okay. But how you manage yourself is down to your personality, my brother. Okay. Tino, if it goes to 76K, you should shave your beard. I'm not going to shave my beard. No chance. Tino, the market will go down, my friend. Just watch it. Oh, who's bearish now? Listen, I'm not bullish. I'm not bearish. I'm just telling you that the market is liking interest rates. So we traded it. Okay. We all made money today. I made my money this morning. I didn't need to trade the New York session today. All right. And that's it. Next day, whatever else is going to happen. If tomorrow Bitcoin's taking a slump, we're going down. Happy days. We make money either way. Okay? Okay then. Right. Yeah, girl kick Tina in the balls. Okay, wonderful. Tino. So if USA strikes tonight Venezuela, the Dixie like 2018 entered the Goshen channel and went straight through, as Dixie will rip up, but also in 2018 when Bitcoin entered the Goshen channel. Okay, listen, if the US does decide to strike Venezuela, we've got a big problem. The markets may or may not like that. Okay. I mean, if you're comparing Venezuela army and then the US army, then it's not about whether the US is going to win or not. It's whether the market is going to enjoy the fact that the US is at war. What's oil going to do? Well, oil will more than likely start going up. What about your defense contracts? They're obviously going to get put to work. So tomorrow morning we wake up and we know that there's been an attack on Venezuela. And that's the messed up thing, man. This is the truth of it. Children, women, people will be dying, okay, if they do attack and they hurt civilians. But the sad truth is that it's opportunities for profit because of this business, all right? How sad is that? How sad is that? You know? The real reason Tino hasn't cleaned up the beard is because he's a Balchinian. Oh, okay. I've got to reduce the noise and take the trade in the platinum, and yet again, it left without me. My psychology is messed up. Ah, man, listen, listen, part of the platinum membership, again, listen, you're getting a 20% discount. It's pinned to the top of the chat. And I'm just going to give you an example of what we're getting with the new masterclass sessions. Each masterclass session has a summary to it, so that if you don't want to watch 20 minutes of the session or you just want to recap, you're going to get a PDF attached to each one of the masterclass sessions. This one is trading the EMAs and the hybrid system. Okay, I've got many more that I'm going to be attaching to it, because that's why we're waiting for these to get completed. And then, of course, each masterclass session is going to have the PDF attached to it. All right, so you can download that. Happy days. All right. But those masterclass sessions are effectively going to be designed at concentrating on various aspects of the hybrid, okay? Because the last ones, there was 80 of them. They're still going to be accessible, but they're going to be archived, all right? But the masterclass sessions in total is roughly around 9 hours worth of content. It's about 27 videos that range between 20 minutes and 1 hour, where there's about 3 of them that are an hour long. The rest of them are about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's not as long as what the other ones were before. But that is going to be a place where I'm going to be adding new masterclass sessions too, but they're going to be concentrated and they're all going to be on the whiteboard. All those masterclass sessions are done on the whiteboard, okay? So if you want to check that out, we'll be getting those uploaded onto the website very, very soon. Mike's just waiting on me to just get all the stuff sorted out with the PDFs. But if you want to take advantage of that, you get 20% off your first month with the discount code, which is called THANKS. All right. For Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we've done it like that. Well, Mike did that. Okay. I just would have said, you know, just discount or Black Friday or Bitcoin. But Mike's been a bit more sentimental with that. And he's gone and put with the Thanksgiving. All right. So how's the situation in the UK? Is it bad? Is it good? Where's the situation in what UK, man? People are just cussing all the time about the UK. All right, cool. My doorstep is live. I don't have no problems. Touch wood. You know, no one's knocking on my door. They wouldn't dare knock on my door because I'll be looking at them from the top of the roof and I'll be like, hello, my friend. Yeah, I'm aerial right now, bro. So you ain't going to be able to do much. Anyways, we don't want to be talking about those days. Tino, you think we could double top on gold, then come down if we don't get our interest rate cut? If we don't get a cut, we're not going down. If we don't get a cut, sorry, we're going down. If we get a cut, we're going up. It's simple math. Well, not math, but sort of economics, but anyways. Tino, where can we see that green and red order flow on Bitcoin? That is on the CoinAnk. It's called Order Book Depth Delta, okay? Order Book Depth Delta. All right. And it's this chart here, aggregated spot order book depth difference chart. Go to CoinAnk and it says order book depth delta. And you have to, it's not just simply looking at it and saying, oh, it's red, you spy, and green, you understand? It's not that. OK, you have to have an understanding of what's going on with the bids and the offers. All right. When you understand that logic, then you can then come to this chart and be like, are the offers absorbing all the takers? Are the bids absorbing all the guys who are trying to sell? And when you understand that relationship, then you can come to the chart and be like, okay, it looks like Bitcoin's going to go up today. And that's what the logic was for me to see Bitcoin make a move to the upside, because I was paying attention to it this morning. And I said to myself, the bids keep on hitting the orders, and the block trade principle came into play. When you hear me on these live streams talk about the block, talk about everything, when you do the masterclass sessions, the new ones, okay, you'll understand that you're seeing the same thing happening over and over and over again. And in one of those sessions, I say to you, go to, what day was it? In one of the sessions, I tell you, that was it, on the Sunday, I think it was. Yeah, on the Sunday, I say on the 23rd of November, go and look at price from that point. So when you watch that masterclass session, it's going to ask you, go and come back to this date and tell me what Bitcoin has done. And you'll see exactly what it did based on the concept of trading the continuation of the bids. That's one of the new lessons in there called continuation of bids, where it's the red vector candle that appears at the top of the range and then continues to the upside. Let me explain it to you quick time, because there's a gentleman who asked the same question to me a couple of days beforehand. And he said, Tino, I entered here and I exited here. And I want to know why what I did wrong here. And it's not a case for him going wrong, but what he actually did was oh no, what have I done here? Oh my days. There we go. Right. So here is the logic right here. Okay. So this is what it was, right? He said that he went long here, entry long, okay? He sold at exit long. And he sold on this red vector candle. And one of the sessions is about the continuation of vectors, which is the continuation of bids, where price comes down aggressively, but it's not breaking key zones. And it's an indication that the bids are coming in to buy up quickly, to take advantage of price being cheaper, buy it up to then offer higher. And Bitcoin did that this weekend. This was done on the 21st, okay? And if you go into price itself, right, on the weekend, you go to Bitcoin, it did it here. There's that same candlestick. That was on a 1 minute time frame. This is on an hourly. And it came down, gave the bids. It didn't break a key structure, came up, did it again, and then repeated the move to the upside. And the art of that story was on working out whether you should close a trade or not. And I dive into that with the new session. So that's what you're going to be getting with regards to that. Okay. Do you offer to trade how to trade options in Platinum? If not, can you please? I'm currently in the process of creating a options whiteboard session where I dive into options, okay? And it's going to be a long options. It's going to be a long one, in my opinion, because there's a lot of context to understand with regards to options, where we're talking about the basics of options, then we start going into gamma exposure, charm, vega, and then we're talking about the deltas, what really delta is, not the delta you see in trading, as in price action delta. No, this is a completely different delta. Implied volatilities, spreads, and what have you, the types of option strategies, the vanillas, black skulls. I mean, there's so much theory to it. The Greeks, of course, I'm going to talk about the Greeks, but it is quite tricky, but it will throw you off. So the thing that I'm going to talk about is more about option spreads. Okay, so you'll understand that when that comes into play. The only problem Tino needs to address with the Platinum membership is that you don't have a masterclass telling you when the best time to go talk to women buying those ovaries. Oh my days, bro, you've messed me up there, man. Sorry. I can't believe I read that. Anyways, Irishman, you funny guy. Anyways, here we go. So you've got Bitcoin that's effectively made this nice claim to the upside, guys. It's a really good move. It's a red vector candle recovery. Does it mean now is the time to be getting involved in Bitcoin? Just be very cautious. This is for my spot holders, okay? Now we're talking about a bigger time frame now. What you've got to be mindful of is the 5 and 13 EMA technically are still trading negative, okay? Bitcoin, I'm not going to piss on your parade, but Bitcoin does have the capacity to still go lower, okay? All we need tomorrow is to see the PPI data coming out. And then if it does come in higher, then the Fed will then say, okay, inflation is going to come in even worse. We've got to sit tight. And then all your wallers and all the gang that have been going on about the market, we're going to get a rate cut, they will easily retract on that, okay? This has been bouncing up and down. There's been more volatility in this Fed Watch statistical chart, okay, than there has been in XRP. Speaking of XRP, let's go over to XRP. Back to the same spot. What an absolute dog. I hate this asset. Can't stand it. But going into the weekly chart itself, to start it off, we've got a violet vector candle recovery. We've already recovered some of this blue vector candle. Do you remember that? I'm sure you did. I'm sure you remembered the vector candle recovery. And you want to know what's more despicable about it? The recovery of it was smack bang in the middle of the midpoint of the vector. This is disgusting. If I got it correctly here we go. Wait, smack bang on it. I mean, come on, man. That is the vector candle recovery, the 50% of the vector candle strategy. That right there. If anyone would have just did that and placed an order at the midpoint of that, you would have been sat flipping wonderful, and you could end up becoming more wonderful. These are concepts I talk about all the time, guys. You know I'm always running my mouth with that, okay? So happy days with that, okay? Mexico. Bro, I went away for a few months. What happened to your head? I used to have hair. Now I don't. Anyways, listen. So, mad love and respect. Tomorrow's CPI data. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be wild if it all comes in bad. But if it comes in really good, in the sense where the reading shows that everything's coming down, then that's great news. Then we can start focusing on the labor market and rate cuts, okay? Right now, we're just focusing on rate cuts because they said we should be getting rate cuts, okay? Gold's gone up, Nasdaq's gone up, everything's gone up. Japan will be returning back from the markets. They had a bank holiday. So that means we could see a little bit of flavor going off into the Asian session tonight. But tomorrow is CPI. So if you are in profits, consider taking some off the table and then leave some runners so that when you are involved in the CPI data itself or the core PPI data, then you're not shaken out in case there is a little bit of a bold reading that we're not aware of, okay? So just take bold, but you get the idea, okay? So just to finalize, there is the discount code, Black Friday sale, 20% off the Platinum membership. That's going to be valid for the whole week, okay? So take advantage of that. I'm going to be mentioning it most of the time in the live stream so you guys are aware of that. And more importantly, please just trade safely, all right? It is chaotic times. I know we have a laugh and a joke, but the realism of the game is this. If you're making money in trading or you've made some, take it off the table and then get ready for the next opportunity, all right? Don't sit and hold hope. Now, some of you might say, this guy was saying to take money off the table when Bitcoin was at 88 and he went and shot to 124,000. You're saying to me that in one candle it's going to go and do that? No, you're going to get a retrace, okay? So the retrace is where you load up, all right? And then continue to the upside, all right? With that being said, guys, mad love and respect. Please hit the like button and I'll be tuning into you all tomorrow morning. Peace.